want me to stop?
February just went full summer blockbuster. Intense heists, screaming psychopaths, gothic romance, and masked idiots breaking into houses. Whether you're here for pulse-pounding thrillers, mind-bending sci-fi, or killer twists, these are the most anticipated movies of February, the ones everyone's going to be talking about, with or without you. Scream 7 is proof that Hollywood will milk a franchise harder than Christopher Nolan milks historical accuracy, dragging back everyone who's ever been stabbed, shot, or electrocuted in this series. Sidney Prescott is back to save the studio, and this time, she's dragging her daughter into the slaughter, effectively turning Take Your Child to Work Day into a bloodbath. A fresh Ghostface rises, confirming his status as the thirstiest simp in horror history. This guy's been chasing the same woman since 1996 and still hasn't sealed the deal. This movie's been recast and resurrected more times than its dead teenagers. Melissa Barrera got fired for politics, Jenna Ortega bailed, and the FBI had to step in because fans were sending actual death threats. This isn't a whodunit. It's a who cares whodunit, wrapped in a plot so thin that death in this franchise means about as much as a final sale sign at Kohl's. Next up is Wuthering Heights, or as I call it, Barbie After Dark, the mud wrestling, R-rated version that's basically euphoria, banging, pride, and prejudice. Margot Robbie stars as the teenager Catherine, and Jacob Elordi plays Heathcliff, a character historically described as dark-skinned, but apparently historical accuracy doesn't sell popcorn to Gen Z. This is what happens when Barbie discovers she likes being choked by brooding Aussies with enough yearning to make Bridgerton look like a church sermon. Early reactions are calling it primal and soul-destroying epic, which is just code for bring earplugs for crying and sunglasses for the steamy parts. It's 50 Shades for couples who want romance that leaves bruises. Catch it on Valentine's Day and bring a safe word. Crime 101 is the heist flick being compared to Heat, but with 100% more baby oil and fewer Al Pacino screaming monologues. Chris Hemsworth plays a jewel thief with abs of steel, planning one last score along the 101 freeway, while Mark Ruffalo's disheveled detective hunts him down, looking like he's been sleeping in his Honda Civic since Infinity War. Halle Berry shows up as an insurance broker who looked at her Excel spreadsheet one day and asked, "Co-pilot, how to felony," then teams up with Hemsworth, because life's not a box of chocolates, apparently. Every frame looks expensive. Every character looks morally and physically flexible, and the sexual tension could power a grid. Perfect for date night, if you're both into eye candy. So if you've ever wanted to see Thor and Catwoman commit felonies while looking like a Calvin Klein ad, Crime 101 drops February 13th. Next up is GOAT, the believe in yourself propaganda for anyone under 5'9" who thinks they can fight a bouncer. This time it's a tiny goat named Will trying to make it in Roarball, a sport that's one part NBA, one part gladiator, and entirely designed to sell you merchandise you don't need. Early buzz says it's got heart, but so does every Hallmark movie about a widow finding love at a bed and breakfast. Steph Curry produced this. Yes, the same guy who revolutionized the three-pointer is now making Space Jam for furries. So if you've ever wondered what would happen if LeBron was replaced by an actual GOAT, mark February 13th. It's got genuinely funny visuals that slap harder than a stepdad on his third Bud Light. Next up is The Strangers, Chapter 3, or as I call it, Home Alone with a Body Count. After 2 movies of cardio and crying, Madeline Petch returns, having survived by being significantly more attractive than everyone else in the cast. This time, Scarecrow kidnaps her to his sawmill dungeon and tries seducing her into becoming his new murder girlfriend. It's basically Stockholm Syndrome meets 50 Shades of Dumb. Critics say the entire cast looks like they overdosed on sleeping pills, and one audience member reportedly gasped when Scarecrow took his mask off, not because it was scary, but because they finally woke up. Go see this chaotic end to the knock-knock nightmare and watch a hot redhead gaslight and girl boss her way into the best unintentional comedy of 2026. This Dracula is a moody fanfic about a 400-year-old simp who suffers an unspeakable loss and will now make the audience pay the price for it. Instead of delivering a haunting, blood-soaked gothic romance, we get an oversexed, painfully sanitized melodrama with about as much bite as a vegan vampire at a Texas barbecue. Dracula himself is more mopey than menacing, a moody soft boy with cheekbones and a perfume designed to roofie women into submission. He just isn't terrifying or alluring. He's just there. I genuinely recommend this movie because, like The Room, it's so bad, it's good. But while that movie was inept, this Vlad the Whimperer disaster is incredibly well made, just written by someone with no sense of tone or basic morals. How to Make a Killing is Glenn Powell's guide to wealth management, where the first step to financial freedom is apparently family genocide. He's a blue-collar kid disowned by obscenely rich relatives, so naturally he decides the best career path is serial killer, with a $28 billion inheritance as severance pay. Margaret Qualley plays his morally bankrupt partner who treats homicide like role play, and together they murder their way to the top of the will. This is what happens when hot people decide rich people problems can only be solved with a closed casket. Basically, LinkedIn meets American Psycho. It drops February 20th, so bring your daddy issues and nepotism rage, because this movie knows sometimes the only way to close the wealth gap is with a body bag. Good luck, have fun, don't die feels like it was written by someone who lost their job to AI, went home, and immediately started meth while typing a screenplay out of pure spite. Sam Rockwell plays a lunatic from the future who crashes a diner breakfast to recruit unique losers to stop AI from blueballing the entire planet. The studio's giving away free tickets to people replaced by AI, which is the most passive-aggressive marketing campaign since Ashley Madison sponsored marriage counseling. It's a scathing satire about how we're all addicted to screens, delivered by a movie that begs you to stare at a giant screen for 2 hours. Catch it February 13th, before Skynet gets jealous and pulls it from theaters. Next up, a few honorable mentions in case you're into that kind of torture. On Prime Video, we have The Bluff. I actually did a full breakdown of this in my new to Prime video, the link top right corner. The Bluff stars Priyanka Chopra as a retired pirate mom who has to dust off her murder skills when her psycho ex, Carl Urban, crashes the party demanding his gold back like he's collecting child support. Meanwhile, Nick Jonas keeps posting about how great his wife looks, covered in blood and bruises, which is either incredibly supportive or a very concerning fetish. Joe Keery trades fighting demogorgons for fighting parasitic fungus in cold storage, dropping February 13th. The plot is basically The Last of Us on bath salts. A military bioweapon thaws out in a storage unit, and it's up to Daddy Liam Neeson, plus the 2 security guards, to stop it from spreading faster than a rumor about Sydney Sweeney. So, what's our troll pick of the month? The top choice is Wuthering Heights. Genuinely excited to see how they turn a classic about race and class into a soft porn perfume commercial, starring the 2 palest Australians alive. So subscribe and stick around. Netflix and Prime releases are coming next. Think of it as a public service announcement for your sanity. Check back next week for your weekly dose of movie madness, and as always, let's get watching.